Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Decentralized Chain. It's Firoz, and in today's episode we are going to be talking about NFTs, and in particular a new collection that is out on EtherCards. Now, before we do, if this is the first time you're here and you want to learn more about crypto, whether it's news, insights, or analysis to help you get that edge, start now by hitting the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming episodes. Better still, why don't you come and join us over in the Telegram community? Plenty of crypto enthusiasts, from novices to pro traders. So really, no question too big and no question too small. Lots of helpful people, lots of alpha, lots of tips and tricks before they hit YouTube. Now, on to today's topic of NFTs. Now, for those who are not familiar with NFTs, it stands for non-fungible tokens. And you might be thinking, well, what is that? What does it do? Here's a quick comparison of how they differ from, say, the likes of Bitcoin. You buy one Bitcoin, you trade it for another Bitcoin, or you give someone your Bitcoin for something that you want to purchase from them, right? At the end of the day, that Bitcoin is no different from any other Bitcoin. It's the same. When it comes to NFTs, however, completely different case. The whole point of NFTs are that they're non-fungible, i.e. no NFT or no two NFTs are the same. They are unique in that respect. And so if you kind of take it towards the likes of digital artwork, right, or digital history, whatever you want to call it. Earlier this year, we had Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, and now he sold his very first ever tweet for $2.9 million. So somebody out there wanted to collect that digital recording in history, whereby he has said, this is my official tweet. This is the NFT that I've created that represents this tweet. It's a one-off. And so therefore someone has bought that and they now own that. Okay, so that pretty much gives them the digital ownership of that artwork or that digital recording in history. Similarly, Beeple, very well known within the NFT space. His artwork has sold for more than $69 million at Christie's. Once again, you might be thinking, that's well and good. I can just go ahead and copy the JPEG image. Yes, you can copy the JPEG image, but at the end of the day, you don't own that underlying digital artwork. And the only way to own it is to own the NFT that's associated with it. So that's your proof, and that's on the blockchain. So if you wanted to sell that NFT at a later stage, and we'll get onto that shortly, then you can, because you own that original copy versus just trying to sell a JPEG. No one's going to want to buy that off you. So that takes us on to the NBA. All right, so those who are familiar with NBA Top Shots, earlier this year, there were a number of NBA highlights being sold, digital recordings being sold, wrapped into NFTs, and they sold for a lot. Well over $230 million worth of sales and trades on digital artwork alone. So there is significant value behind it if you are that type of individual that sees value in artwork, right? NFTs isn't going to be for everybody, but in this regard, you know, when we took it from an NBA perspective, those who are into basketball, those who are into collecting artwork, those who are into collecting one-off pieces, this is where NFTs really shines through when it comes to blockchain technologies. And so when we talk further about EtherCards, as I mentioned earlier, they're launching a new collection in partnership with LaMelo Ball. So there's going to be a number of collectibles. And for those who are not familiar with EtherCards, what I would say is, in my opinion, it's the evolution. It's the evolution of NFTs, because they've implemented gamification within here. And so therefore the NFTs here, you know, which will carry smart contract based traits, you know, is designed for that user engagement. That's kind of where EtherCards plays into that. That's really their focus here. And here what they've done is they've launched a new collection in partnership with LaMelo Ball. And the idea behind here is that it's dynamic, is that as the basketball players, I suppose, career stats increase, so do the NFTs as well, in terms of the access you get from it, and all of those items are tied and associated with ultimately his performance, his career. And so let's dig a bit more deeper just to kind of understand a bit more in terms of what that actually means. So those who aren't familiar with LaMelo Ball, let's just get his stats up on the NBA website. Okay, he's the point guard. He's the point guard for the Hornets, or the Charlotte Hornets. He's led almost every NBA rookie every other NBA rookie in points, assists, and steals. And so earlier last week, but towards the back end of May, the NBA listed him as the front runner for the NBA Rookie of the Year after winning Rookie of the Month 4 times in a row. Now, if he wins Rookie of the Year, then he will join basketball legends, icons like Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan, Shaq, LeBron. Actually, while we're talking about LeBron, let's just quickly jump back to that article on the NBA Top Shots. If we kind of scroll down, LeBron James highlight sold for $200,000 as an NFT. So it kind of gives you an idea of where this is kind of really all heading in terms of this new collectible. And in terms of understanding really a bit more, what do these actual collectibles mean? Well, so here we have is a collaboration, LaMelo. First ever collaboration, I suppose I would say, in terms of, dynamically charged NFT cards. He's going to be the first professional athlete to issue NFT collections, which are fundamentally evolve based on his performance. And so what does it really get you? Let's jump in and have a little bit more deeper look. So what does it really get you? As you scroll down, what you're going to have is a number of different NFTs that you can buy. Okay, there's about 10,000 in total across 4 different tiers. And so when you break that down, each tier pretty much gives you access, right? You get exclusivity from it. Let's have a look at the red tier, right? So the idea here is that you get a chance to win one of the gold NFTs, and we'll talk about what the gold NFTs are a bit later. You get surprise endorsement deal rewards, chance to win official merchandise monthly, and then also chances to win NBA game tickets up to the value of $5,000. Now, let's just say, for 0.01 ETH, the idea here is that, pretty much you're purchasing an NFT that should go up in value over time based on how successful he is. So you're kind of banking on LaMelo Ball really, being successful. And I suppose if you go by stats, can't see why you shouldn't be. But, that's really what you're banking on. And you're sort of getting in early on that. So then as he becomes more successful in his career, the NFTs that are associated with him, which are all one-offs, right? They're all one-off unique pieces for his collection, no more to be minted, for example, then that increases with value over time as well. And if he becomes one of the legends, well, you can see where your NFTs are going to end up going fundamentally. And when we sort of understand a bit more in terms of what happens is as you scale up on the NFTs, so you've got, as I mentioned, 4 different tiers. You've got the Red Mars benefits, then you've got the Blue Neptune, and then each of them differ in terms of the probability of you winning merchandise. So the blue gives you weekly, whereas the red gives you monthly. There's also guaranteed $150 worth in endorsement deal rewards. So potentially, if you wanted to, if you were to fundamentally say win a championship ring, for example, or win merchandise on a weekly basis, if you didn't plan to keep it, you could potentially plan to sell it on as well. There's always that element as well. There's people from both sides, right? There's going to be those who are genuinely interested in the collection side and they kind of want to own that piece of history. And then there are going to be those who are, seeing it more as an investment opportunity. So it matures over time as the stats mature over time. And one of the things to bear in mind is that each of these NFTs are actually focused around specific stats. So here is based on points. So if we kind of go back to the stats page here, it's linked to the points over here, so 15.7. And then so let's jump back again. And then similarly, as we were talking about Blue Neptune, this is related to the number of steals. So these are all the, I would say, outside factors that fundamentally have an impact on the evolution of that NFT. The more points, the more steals, the more valuable really that NFT should be. And this is also where the partnership with Chainlink comes into it, because the whole point is that how do you validate that off-chain data on-chain? And this is where Chainlink comes in. So those who aren't familiar, Chainlink is an oracle, one of the major players in this space, and this is where the partnership comes in. And really here is kind of using or validating off-chain data for on-chain. And that's what it is, basically. It's the validation, it's the proof behind it. Otherwise, what you could potentially have is, people fundamentally tweaking the points, trying to game the system, right, from the outside. But here, Chainlink is what's going to be used as that sort of verifier throughout that process. And then as we move further down, you've got Silver Moon, once again, what happens is that all of these, as you purchase each of these NFTs, the probabilities increase, right? So you end up kind of, the more you purchase, the more the probability of you being able to, get certain deals and rewards from it. For example, with Silver Moon, guaranteed over $750 worth of endorsement deal rewards that you kind of get from that. And then the final one is the gold Evolve, and I'll talk a bit about that in detail in a second. But when we talk about the sort of merchandises that you could potentially get, it can be anywhere from socks, sneakers, t-shirts, hoodies, jerseys. And the other thing to bear in mind is that all of the merchandise that's being sent out, there is a probability that merchandise gets signed by LaMelo himself as well. So now that merchandise that you own also becomes a physical item that has value associated to it. It's not just merchandise that you've got, it's one-off merchandise, like the NFT. It's one-off because it has a signature on it. There's only so many of those you're going to get with a signature on it, right? And so that sort of evolves over time alongside it. And the other thing to sort of bear in mind is that, particularly for the gold, is that it evolves. So if LaMelo makes Rookie of the Year, then this digital artwork itself that you have ownership of will evolve as well to kind of represent that on top of that as well. So that's pretty cool in terms of those who are sort of, I would say, when I said the word cool, what I'm really referring to is that this is the evolution. The NFT is evolving. It's not just a piece of digital artwork that you're owning. It's an artwork that's actually evolving based on the career stats, which I think is pretty cool. Now, the other thing to also bear in mind across all of these, right, is that they're all up for sale. But prior to that, if you own every single one of those NFTs, then also there is additional valuable bonuses, and they're all going to be revealed after the conclusion of the sale. So it's kind of like your carrot being dangled in front of your face, so to say, right? And once again, all this plays into, you can see how gamification sort of plays into that, because those who are into the whole sort of collection piece, owning all the collectibles, you kind of get access to all of that. But one thing to bear in mind actually, which is different, which is by owning the gold one, you actually have exclusive access to scheduled group chats with LaMelo Ball himself. And I think this is what I like. I think from a NFT perspective, and I hope more, I would say, stars, celebs do this, right, for their fans, is that this provides a unique relationship with your fans. You're not just buying some merchandise, you're buying an opportunity as well here in terms of being able to interact with your favorite fans. So, even if we sidestep the collection for a moment, as this concept grows more, it allows fans a much more unique way to interact with their celebrities that they follow. Now, in terms of how do you buy? Well, the sale runs from June the 4th, so it's already running until June the 25th. And fairly straightforward in terms of how you buy, actually. All you really need to do, depending on which tier you want. If you want all of them, you can go ahead and buy all of them. You can also see how many are left in each tier. So I think a lot, by the looks of it, are already buying pretty much the top tiers, really, because you kind of get more. I suppose you're going more on a probability perspective, that the probabilities of you getting something are weekly versus monthly. But here you can see exactly how many are left, and then how many are available here. Straightforward. All you really do is you make sure, obviously you need to install MetaMask, so make sure you've got MetaMask up and running, or Web3 wallet. Here's a link above to understand how you install MetaMask. But once you've got that installed, all you then need to do is click buy gold, Evolve, a number of cards that you want to buy, obviously the amount that you're paying for it, and then once you've done that and you've got your wallet connected, you just click buy, approve, and then that's it. It will sit in your wallet, basically. Now, you can't do anything with it just yet, right? So once the sale concludes, then these NFTs will be unlocked, right? So remember, there are some people that are going to be collecting it, and some are also going to be buying it for, the perceived value that it may represent on an open market when you're looking to sell it. And so that will only be available after the 25th of June. And that will be on OpenSea. So those who aren't familiar, OpenSea, massive marketplace for NFTs, basically. You go there, sell, and that's it. That's kind of how you distribute your NFTs at the end of the day, and obviously get paid for it. Or you might not sell, you might just hold on to it and, follow the career, follow the stats of LaMelo Ball as well, which then fundamentally will then increase your NFT and evolve your NFT. So anyway, guys, that was just a quick update in terms of this particular collection that's out. So definitely feel free to go and check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this something that you're interested in? Do you think this whole NBA space is sort of done? Do you think the NFT space is done? Or do you think there's going to be a resurgence and, you know, this is really the kickstart of something new? Anyway, I will see you on the next episode. Stay tuned.